I think I take my inspiration from Chimamanda Adichie, and she speaks about the danger of a single story. It's the same with African leaders. There's nothing wrong with stereotypes, it's just that they only tell one story. And we have a particular set of stereotypes for African leaders. And I think the new story is about the vibrancy, the energy, the commitment, the education, the real passion about people here to make this continent the best one that it can be. I don't think the Tutu Fellowship has actually changed my approach to being a leader per se, but it certainly changed my approach to being a South African leader. Because by and large, I've lived my life in South Africa and I've chosen to live my life in South Africa. And what the fellowship really exposed me to was how little I knew about the rest of the continent and how my networks were actually largely European or American or from the Middle East or from Asia. And how little I knew about the continent that I actually was part of. And so it really opened my mind to how little I knew as a South African leader about the people, about the countries, about the history of an entire set of people around me. And that really was an incredibly valuable, very important, very necessary learning. I think they have the same challenges as all up-and-coming leaders. To hold on to the memory that you really are there because you've been chosen to be there with faith and trust by people that you're going to look after someone other than yourself. And to remember that, I think, is a very difficult thing for leaders, because once you're in there, you can start to believe your own publicity and you can start to believe that the leadership purpose starts and ends with you, as opposed to remembering that you're really there for other people and you're an enabler of other people's lives. And I think particularly in Africa, where we have a struggle to award the Mo Ibrahim Prize, that's particularly difficult, but it's not unique to Africa. I have a friend who's been working with youth for years, and he works with them for 5 years all through high school. And he's quite adamant that 5 years is how long it takes for him to really get through to these kids. Because what he tries to get through to them with is the realization that they are hardwired to see oppression everywhere they look. And he said it's quite extraordinary, it's quite saddening to realize how deeply seated the sense of victimhood and the sense of an external oppressor is. And that for me is a really important thing that the African youth, all of us, actually need to take on. What are our lenses and filters on the world? Sure, there's systemic obstacles, sure, there's systemic problems, but what are the lenses and filters that we bring to the world? And if the lenses and filters 20 years after democracy is finished is still amongst our youth one of seeing oppression and one of seeing themselves as victims, then we've got a real challenge. And so it speaks to that idea of, you see the world not as it is, but as you are. You've got to change your own mindset, and that's the only place to start.